The new competency-based curriculum has presented diverse changes in the education system, with the period in which learners are expected to remain in school seemingly shorter. The changes include phasing out of national examinations and the introduction of formative assessment in schools, as well as transitioning of children to secondary schools at grade 7. And as our Education Affairs reporter Andrin Kilemi now reports, the changes in the transition means a double intake for secondary schools come the year 2023.
For the longest time, the education system has been based on books and exams. Life skills and talents were not prioritized. Education was based on the banking concepts, where teachers knew everything and students knew nothing. But that is about to change with the new competency-based curriculum in place.
It is going to be more on competencies, identifying the talents and nurturing them at an early age. At the moment, our 844 is focused on children passing KCPE and children passing KCSE. If you pass KCPE, you go to a good secondary school. If you pass in KCSE, you go to a good university and get admitted to a better course. If you fail, you are condemned that you are a failure. But competency-based curriculum wants to nurture the competencies of each and every learner across the country.
The CBC curriculum is collaborative, which means working together with other learners, teachers and parents in a collaborative manner to be able to give better outcomes. Parents have, however, raised concerns over the demanding curriculum.
Parents are complaining because they are not used to this, because 844 was about children, yes, about learning to pass exams. Therefore, it was for them to go home, do their homework, memorize whatever they need to memorize in order for them to pass examinations. But here, it's about competencies. We are trying to find out, when it comes to issues of art, what interests do our learners have? Parent will be able to identify, this child of mine is good in art. This child of mine is good in, they are interested in planting or doing something. They are good in craft. They are good in cooking, you know? So, and once we identify that at an early age, the parent together with the school will be able to nurture that particular talent, that particular competency for better education outcomes and for the good of this child and our society in the future.
The new system consequently presenting changes in the transition process, whereby learners in grade 6 will be required to transition to junior secondary schools at grade 7. At the same time, the 844 candidates will be completing their primary school and joining secondary school in Form 1, which then means a double intake in 2023.
The public schools will need to reorganize their infrastructure to accommodate the two classes that will be coming in at grade 7 and Form 1. That is what it means. For us in the private sector, we are trying to find out the best way to accommodate the junior secondary school. For those of us who are going to establish a standalone junior secondary schools in the private sector, we are going to go ahead and do that. For those in the private schools who would want to accommodate the junior secondary within the current physical setup of the primary school, they are going to be allowed to do that as long as they meet certain minimum conditions.
They're transitioning further, raising eyebrows amongst Kenyans, with many wondering how efficient and seamless the changes will be with the current state of infrastructure in schools. Experts, however, maintain that the process will not frustrate the continuation of education for lack of resources.
Even the task force report has recommended the sharing of resources. For example, a secondary school may be required to use the infrastructure that is available in the existing public primary schools if it so demands. So it doesn't mean that we'll have a crisis. No, it will just be about realignment and looking at what is it that needs to be done. Which infrastructure can we use to accommodate learning?
The competency-based curriculum is certainly one of the most radical attempts at reforming education in Kenya. It marks a drastic transition on how learners can apply knowledge in their day-to-day activities, as opposed to the exam-oriented approach of the 844 system. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.